Hello and welcome. Thank you so much for joining me today. We are running a series for specialised training for women coaches, helping women, and I'm joined today by Yolande Garrick. Yolande is a personal transformation specialist. So we're going to explore with Yolande where she was at, what led her to become a personal transformation specialist. And then she's going to give us some tips as well on how you can really follow your dreams and your desires to create the life and the experience that you want for yourself. So thank you so much for joining me today.
You're welcome. Nice to be here.
It's lovely to chat with you. I'm actually really excited about this because I love getting into, the backstories. I know who you are now, but to learn more about where you were and what led you and drove you to be who you are now is really, I think it makes up this deep tapestry of what we are able to deliver. So
Yeah.
Can you take me back a couple of years to where you were when you were just starting to really tap into this drive that you had to build a business that revolves around helping other women?
I've always had this drive to help other women, empower other women to be the best version of themselves. I guess because I always had that little, I didn't always have a lot of confidence growing up. And so that was something I actually had to overcome myself over the years. And I managed to do that. Throwing myself into a lot of personal development. I was like a sponge. I just loved information. I just needed to figure out what made everyone different and what made me different, because I think as a child I always felt like I was different. I wasn't like everyone else. So I had a lot of inner growth that I need to do for myself. And I knew that once I did that for myself, then I'd be confident enough to get out there and help other women do the same for them. But that was a bit of a long journey, and I'd done a lot of, read a lot of books, did the Anthony Robbins and all that sort of stuff as well. And that all really helped. And I guess I steered more into the health and wellness industry. That was my easier stepping stone into that realm. And I became a personal trainer and also a wellness coach. So that was easy for me because it was really important for me to be a role model for my clients. So I thought, if I'm going to be a personal trainer or a wellness coach, I've got to walk the talk. Mm-hmm. So it kind of kept me in line as well, which was really good. And so I did that for a couple of years, and I was training a lot of corporate women at that point. And it was really rewarding to be able to make that difference for them. But I did notice that for a lot of them, there was more going on internally than there was externally, so to speak. I could see the difference when they started to feel good about themselves. But in our conversations, I could see that there was more going on inside of them, like, not being able to speak up at work, or not being able to say what they want to say in their relationships. Mm-hmm. Even though they're really smart women, there was a lot of stuff going on for them internally that I wished I could give them advice on, but I didn't know how to be able to do that with them. So I was quite driven to learn a little bit more about mindset. It was like, it's not just the physical that helps us feel good about ourselves. It's a great start, or it's a part of it, but it's internally that I could start seeing a lot with them. And that's where I started to work on a little bit more on myself, because, how can I help them if I knew for myself I probably had a little bit of those same things going on. Yeah. I did a lot of more personal development, and I wanted to start my own business, but it was, funnily enough, I was actually afraid. And I didn't know what I was afraid of. I've helped a lot of other people, like my partners, in their business. I was good as a support and I could give them great ideas. But when they stepped aside and it was about me now stepping in front, I froze. And I for the life of me, I couldn't understand what was going on, because I had done so much work on myself. And I recognized that it was actually something deeper in me that I couldn't put my finger on. So then I was still determined to run my own business, because I know that's what I'm here for. I know that I have something to share with the world, and I was determined to do that. I just knew there was something else out there that I needed in order to clear whatever this was going on for me internally that I needed to get rid of. And it just by chance, I come across a Facebook ad with Creatrix, and just, you know, I took a moment, I stopped and I watched a couple of the testimonials, and trust me, I watched them with a keen eye, and I was just like making sure this is the real deal. And just watching them, I could see like this, you can't put this on, right? The way that they were expressing their emotions and what was happening for them, that was so real. And I really connected with that. And I did a bit more research, and there was something just in me that made me think, this might be it, right? This might be the missing piece that I've been looking for, because everything else didn't quite fit for me.
Yeah.
But this did. And it, you know, very rare for me to make decisions like this based on something that you know, at the time was relatively new. I'd never heard of it. And I guess I just had to trust what was going on inside of me at the time, that I felt connected to this, and, you know, what these other ladies were experiencing, and then the outcome, I felt like that's what I needed. That's what I needed.
Before you found Creatrix, how long were you in firstly work in the field of working with people with their physical well-being and their mental mindset? How long were you doing that work before you came across what you now do?
Well, I was doing personal training and wellness coaching for a couple of years with women, and I actually wanted to take that further, but I knew I didn't have what it took to be able to help them at a deeper level.
What were you saying to yourself at that point in time when you because we work with a lot of women, and a lot of women, they've got skills, they've got experience, they've got dreams to take it the next step, to grow it and blow it up, so to speak.
Yeah.
But there's something that gets in the way from them doing that. So what was that for you?
That's what I couldn't figure out, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think I was afraid of failing. The fear of failing was big for me, because I was that person that people would come to.
Mm-hmm.
I was that person that, you know, that gave the advice. And then if I all of a sudden went out and started this business and it didn't work, then I would look like, well, she wasn't all she was cut out to be, you know, like that is what was going on for me.
Yeah.
I guess I was doubting myself. Like, could I really do this? Do I have what it takes? What if I get it wrong?
Yep.
All of these doubts and fears were starting just to compound within me, even though I knew, and other people around me were saying to me, Yolan, what are you waiting for? You could do anything. You know, people are drawn to you. You can do this.
Yeah.
At some level, I believed them, but at a deeper level, I didn't.
You had all of this external support. You had all this external evidence to prove that you had what it took to make it work. But there was that internal critic that was just pulling you back and keeping you stuck.
Hard out.
What was that costing you when you look back on that time, and particularly when you compare it to what you were wanting? What was it costing you to be held back by those internal critics despite all of the external support?
Oh, look, it was costing me having a life where I was truly happy and I could really be myself. You know, I think I had, was held a lot of resentment towards myself because I wasn't being brave enough to step out there and do what I knew I was capable of doing. But the fear was so much greater, and it was easier just to kind of take a step back and then just plod along and do what I was doing. I'd not given up hope. I knew one day I would figure it out, but it was, I was wasting a lot of time, and I wasn't truly being who I was in my power and having that impact. Hey?
How much time do you think you wasted?
Oh gosh, I started my personal training business back in 2012. Right, 2012, and I did that for a couple of years, and it just wasn't consistent enough, and I had to earn income, and I was like, I wasn't, it couldn't hold me there long enough, and I still had these fears of taking it to that next level so I could earn more money. So I put it aside for a while, and I took on another role, and that's when I started working with my partner in property investing. So we were doing workshops all over Australia and teaching people how to invest in property. So I used this opportunity for me to save up what I needed so that when it came time for me to step out, I would have the funds that I needed. So I hadn't given up. I knew I had a purpose, but I just had to wait until I was ready. But, you know, I could have kept waiting. Creatrix showed up for me. You know, I would have kept waiting and waiting, but it showed up for me at the right time.
So it's funny, and it's a common story, isn't it? You know, we've got these dreams, and logically we can see these opportunities that help to finance dreams, and there's a practical point to that we do need to pursue and take into consideration. But when you look at, you know, how common it is for women to say, this is what I want, but this would be so much easier because it's going to give me the income, it's going to give me the stability and the security and all the rest of it. What did that decision to sort of just divert off your purpose path, what did that cost you, do you think, you know, aside from time?
I think just pure happiness, like fulfillment, satisfaction to know that I'm actually doing something that's having an impact. Like, you know, when you truly want to help another woman, like, be the best version of herself, and then when you're not being that best version yourself, it does play on you. And that's why, yeah, I was determined to do this. And for me, I guess, until I found the right thing that showed up for me, I wasn't going to just step into anything.
Yeah.
Right. Because I'd done so many other courses. I've done a lot of personal development. I've done a lot of things. And I wasn't just going to take another course that didn't feel right for me, because I had to get this right. You know, I was getting in my mid to late 40s, and I'm like, I can't keep just waiting, you know, but I could also, I knew I had to choose the right one that felt right for me, because I was only going to get one chance at this.
Yeah.
So I wasn't going to give myself another chance after this, right? Because I was over doing all these things that just weren't working. So it had to be the right one for me.
It's an awful lot of pressure that you put on that one opportunity, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. It was a lot. I mean, before I went into Creatrix, and I'll admit, because I was going to hold them accountable for every single thing that they were promising, because everything they were promising is what I needed. And that's what I was after. So I was ready. Like, it was when I saw it and I decided that this was for me, and I don't know, it wasn't logically that I decided, it was my heart and my gut that decided to make this decision. And I just thought to myself, this is your last chance, Yolande. You know, this is it. I'm going to give everything when I do this course. And if it works, my God, it's going to be the best thing ever, because I know this is what was holding me back.
And it's interesting, isn't it? Because, you know, you said one of the biggest fears that you had that was holding you back from taking opportunities in the past was fear of failure. And then you've got this immense amount of pressure that you put on yourself for this one last shot.
Mm-hmm.
Because you've done all this other training and
yeah.
you experienced all these other things. So you give yourself this pressure
mm-hmm.
to make it one last shot despite this internal fear of failure. What do you think it was that got you over the line in that respect? Because fear of failure was something that, you know, you've admitted was something that held you back in a number of different ways. What was it that got you over the line of just being bound by the fear and also this self-imposed pressure to make it work?
Shit. You know what? It just felt right. I've never really trusted my gut in the past either, like, you know, your intuition. But in this moment, it felt right, and I had to do it. I had to. And I was actually prepared for it not working. Right? I was prepared for that.
Yep.
I was backing myself once and for all, one last chance. And that's actually what I said to my partner at the time. And because I said to him, like, I'm going to do this course. And he's like, what? And I'm like, okay, All I need from you now is to not talk. I just want you to listen. I said to him, you know, all my life it's been about other people, and it's been about supporting other people, you know, bringing up my kids, doing what's, you know, helping other people get to where they need to be. And I said, and in this one instance, I need to make it about me just once. I said, I'm 46 years old. I need to do this for myself. And all I need for you to do is say, go for it, baby. You know, just go for it. Yep. And he did. And then that was it. You know, I went for it. And it was the best decision I ever made. It gave me so much more than what I was expecting.
Mm. And so you came into this opportunity knowing that there were things that could potentially get in the way, being prepared for it not to work, but backing yourself into the time investment and the financial investment 100%, because this was something that you planned out, so to speak, didn't you?
Yeah. I worked in the, you know, worked with my partner with the property investing company, and that was so I could get what I needed to fund my passion.
Yeah.
Because I was going to say, now it's about me. Finally, it's about me, and I have to give this to myself. And when that opportunity came, and everything felt right to me, I did it.
Yeah.
I did it. I finally did it. I finally backed myself, and I did it. And it was the best decision.
So with the experience, so you tried some different things and you trained in a few different things before you found Creatrix and Transformology.
Yeah.
What were some of the things that you tried in the past?
Look, it all started, you know, I'd done a lot of the, I'd read a lot of the Anthony Robbins books. I'd watched a lot of YouTube, motivational videos and stuff like that. I'd done Landmark Forum, and which was really, I connected with that a lot. They also had other advanced courses within that, communication courses and all those sorts of things. So I learned a lot about myself, and then how to communicate with other people. And so I'd also come from a corporate background as well. So I dealt with all different levels of business people. And so I was able to kind of build myself in that confidence in regards to dealing with people and helping other people outside of me. But then what I did recognize is what was missing was what was going on inside of me that I hadn't worked on. Yeah. And I, like I said, when it came time to actually doing the business, I knew I had all the knowledge, all the experience that I needed to do it. There was just something in me that was just like, get back here, you're not going anywhere. And it was strong.
Yeah.
It was strong. And for the life of me, like I said, I couldn't understand why that was there after all the work I'd done.
Yeah, and that's a common thing, isn't it? You know, you've done work with these other processes that help, and that definitely elevated your life and gave you skills.
Yeah.
Yet there was still something not quite right. So when you compare the work that you did in the past with things like Landmark and Forum, and the work that you did with Creatrix at the Institute, what were the most noticeable differences?
I think that, I mean, the whole process with Creatrix is just so simple. It just feels right, like when you're going through the process as well. And the results are lasting, like the results are lasting, like they do last. Like if something comes up for me and I can quite quickly get rid of that issue, you know, within half an hour with another transformologist, it's done, and I keep moving forward. That's the difference. I don't have to wait for anyone to, you know, I don't have to go somewhere and learn something. I already know the tool. I know it works. So it's made my awareness of my thinking, my thoughts, and what I do heightened as well. Yeah. But I'm never stuck with it. I can get rid of it very quickly. And that's the brilliant thing about Creatrix and this whole thing about being a transformologist, is that I had that on tap. Like, it's there for me. You know.
And how, okay, so from a practitioner coach perspective, experience Creatrix to eradicate your fear of failure so that you could go out there and then help other women. So how has the business support in that you do have access to interest support as often as you need it so that you stay on top of your game, how has that allowed you to build the kind of business that you desired to build when you initially decided to get into this industry?
couldn't do it without it. Like it's unbelievable. Like, and I've done a lot of courses that I didn't complete. That was part of my repertoire. I didn't finish things. And the support wasn't there. It just wasn't there. You know, I waited for them to kind of say, hey, y'all, check in, how you going? But that never happened. And then I was too scared to reach out and ask for help. So it kind of didn't work for me. You know, none of it. I never felt comfortable enough to do that with a lot of the other courses that I did. But here it's on tap. The support is unbelievable. And being able to have those creatrix sessions, you know, whenever you need them is priceless, absolutely priceless. I know that I can keep moving forward as fast or as slow as I want. Like it's limitless what I can do now. And I just, you know, I'm blessed, I'm humbled that I actually can call myself a creatrix transformologist. It's a gift that I feel like I've deserved because I worked hard to get to this place. I've done a lot of work, you know, and I think I've been given this gift is because I backed myself. I finally made that choice and I backed myself when it really mattered. You know, you do a lot of personal development and they all talk about that. You know, you've got to believe in yourself, you've got to do this. And when you do, you get the reward. So that's what I did in that defining moment when I had to make that decision. I made it for me, even though logically it was like, oh, what am I? It felt right and I backed me. And now I'm being rewarded for that choice that I made.
Talk to me about the impact that decision to back you, to invest in you. Talk to me about the impact that has allowed you now to have on other women.
It's like, you know, like I said, when I was a personal trainer and a wellness coach, it was all nice and fluffy and I could make them feel good for a while. But now I know that when I work with women, I am changing their lives long term. I'm changing the path that they you know, they're on a path and they want to go there and they can't move, and I'm nudging them along and then they're able to keep going along. That's the impact I've always wanted to have with women. And I knew that, you know, I could only take someone as far as I take myself. I've always taken on that responsibility as a role model. It means a lot to me. So I cannot preach to someone that I'm not doing, you know, something that I'm not doing for myself. Mm-hmm. So it's quite easy for me to be able to do this with other women because I know what it's like to be where they are. And I also know what it's like to be on the other side. And to be able to have that impact on another woman, another soul, that not only changes her, but has the ripple effect around people around her, her children, her family, her partner. That's when you make a real difference. That's what you're after. If you're going to make a difference in a woman's life, that's the difference that you want to be making. Yeah.
And what's that been worth for you to do that?
Absolute gold. Like for me as a person, as a human being, I have finally, you know, I've always aimed to be the best version of myself, and I totally believe 100% that I have got the perfect tool for that. I will never need any other personal development tool or anything else. This is it for me. I know I can always get myself out of any situation. I can, you know, I know I could probably help any woman out there if she was right and if she was ready. I could help her. Do you know how good that feels? To know that you actually have that power, you have that ability to help any woman out there. You honestly do. So I treasure that. Like it's not something that I take lightly. But the difference it's made for me in regards to my business and helping the women that I'm able to help to keep smashing through those glass ceilings and get them to where they want to be. But my partner, like with my partner, our relationship has just gone like, it's amazing. We are the best of friends. I had a good relationship before Creatrix, but I have the best relationship now. Because before Creatrix, I couldn't fully be me. I was even holding back in that area, right? I really was, because I was trying to prove to him that I was smart. I was trying to prove to other people that I had it. But now it's completely different. Completely different. There's none of those mind games going on. It's all or nothing, baby. this is what you get.
Okay, so before, if we put the fear of failing to one side, that was one significant issue that was really causing you drama. What was the next standout frustration that you were experiencing on a daily basis, that no matter what kind of work you did to release it, that frustration was playing out and affecting the various different parts of your life? What would you say that frustration was?
Yeah, I think that was either with believing in myself or doubting myself. Self-doubt that I could actually do it. That was probably the biggest thing that was frustrating for me. Even though I'd done so much work, even though I still had that, what if it doesn't, like that doubt in me. Could I really do it? Who am I? That played out big time. Self-doubt was
some of
huge.
the practical costs of that, having self-doubt, particularly as a woman in business with a desire to empower other women? What were some of the practical costs of doubting yourself?
Look, I think I was just not able to really, I wasn't really able to express myself with them as well, like the way that I'd really want to, because I was doubting whether what I was saying was of value or whether it was the right thing to say. So it kept me small. It really did. And I wasn't able to have that impact that I could have with other people in my business. And I didn't have a voice. Well, I kind of had a voice, but I didn't have the voice that I really want to say this, but I would have all those voices in my head come out and go, what if you get that wrong? You're going to look stupid. Don't say anything. Just let it go.
How has that changed for you?
Oh my God. No, I have a voice now. I can't not speak my truth. I can't not be in the background. It's like I'm the complete opposite of who I was. I used to sit in the background. I wouldn't be the one that would get attention drawn to her. Now I don't have a problem with standing out. I don't have a problem with voicing my opinion. Okay, it might not be the right thing that they want to hear, but I have to get it out.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at now. I can't sit with it because I'm doing myself an injustice, and I don't do that to myself anymore.
And how has that allowed you to help others?
Oh, look, it's just I don't worry about, I don't do reruns in my head about what I'm going to say to them before I say it, or filter it. I just say what I'm going to say, and it just has allowed me to connect more with people a lot easier than I used to, and even judging people. Like I would judge people. Well, I was probably more judging myself in regards to the way they were judging me, and they weren't judging me. That was my issue. So, God, oh my God, there's just so many things that you could just talk about, all these little issues that were getting in the way of me being authentic with people and realizing that they're just like me anyway. There was nothing to be scared of.
And so the overall benefit to you being able to be more of your authentic self, not doubt yourself, not hold yourself back from fear of failure, what's the overall benefit that by you working on those parts of your life, how has that allowed you to help the women that you believe you're here to help?
I think because I have this real strong stance, like I'm very clear about who I am as a person and what I have to offer them, and I will not waver off that. And I know where I can get them as well, and I won't waver off that either. Like to have such clarity in regards to who I want to help and who I am as a person has just aligned perfectly. So it's coming from where I was 2 years ago to where I am now is completely different. Two completely different people. Not different in a way that like I'm a totally different person, but I'm more than what I was 2 years ago. And it's given me, I'm very proud of myself. It's given me strength and courage to keep standing my ground and be a stand for other women, because sometimes that's what they need. Like sometimes you need me to stand in my ground and to believe in them until they believe in themselves, you know. And that's just, yeah, it's just given me, it's reconnected me with my purpose so much more and more powerfully.
So what practical advice would you give to Yolande of before, when you were stuck in that space of self-doubt, fearing failure, wanting to do something, but what practical advice would you give to her now?
Oh my gosh. I would say to her, you know that there is something very special in you. You know this. You know that you have something so special to share with the world, and no one can do it like you. And despite backing yourself, just in this one defining moment, you need to back yourself and get rid of whatever is there for you, and then go for it. Like, you won't regret it. And that's what I would say to her. Like, go for it. I would just say go for it. It's absolutely priceless what you can get from doing this type of work. It is so fulfilling. But when you make that decision to do it, just absolutely go for it. Trust what's in your heart, and every cell of you, even if it doesn't make sense, you need to just back yourself.
Absolutely. So any final words that you would offer to women who are watching this, who are going, oh my God, like, Yolande's story is like the spitting image of where I'm at right now. What would you say to her so that, you know, fast forwarding in her life, she can be creating and experiencing and living her most authentic self?
I would say just do it. Just do it now. Trust yourself. You know that you've got everything in you, and this is the missing piece that you've been looking for. And once you do this, you will absolutely soar. And I promise you, where you see yourself after doing something like this is limitless. And you really can have the life that you dream of. This is where it begins. You know, just go for it. Trust yourself in this moment and do what you have to do to make it happen.
Yeah.
That's what I would say to her. And I look forward to meeting her.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for joining me. It's been a wonderful conversation, and I hope that for everyone watching, you've been able to take some gold nuggets from listening to Yolande's story and learning from her life experience. Because the thing is, every single life experience that we all have, there are gold nuggets within it that we can grab hold of and run with, and that then becomes this new, you know, space for growth and transformation. And if there is something that you've heard in this interview in particular, then please reach out, because we truly have a heart to help you to live the experience that Yolande's experiencing, and that is her best life.
You bet. Thanks, Bree. Appreciate that. Had fun.
See you, girls.
See you later. Bye.